Hey everybody, this is Maxine Taylor, Georgia's first licensed astrologer, with another edition of Astrology 101. We are now going to talk about two of my favorite planets, Uranus and Neptune. Let me just remind you, this is Saturn, and Uranus, which is the great awakener. It is the rebel of the zodiac. Uranus looks like an H, and that's because the person who discovered Uranus was named Herschel. And so this is a stylized version of the first letter of his name. Now, let me tell you about Uranus. Wherever Uranus is in your chart, you want to bust loose. Saturn says, hold tight, be restricted, take it slow and easy, work your way to the top. Uranus says, I want to do it yesterday. Uranus is electric, it's magnetic. Uranus rules astrology. And so what you'll find is that wherever Uranus is in your chart, that's where you want to bust loose. That is where, when it is triggered by the planets going round and round now, you get flashes of insight. This is why we call Uranus the brilliant planet that it is. It is one of our psychic indicators. Have you noticed that every time I go around the zodiac, everybody has the same planets? Well, everybody has Uranus in their chart. And that means that everyone on this planet has the ability to be what we call psychic. And when you are psychic, you're very intuitive. There's a difference between intuition and psychism. If you have strong intuition, you can just let it rip, and lo and behold, you are a natural psychic. So if Saturn is realistic and practical and logical, let us talk now about Uranus. And I'll keep referring to Saturn so that you get the full picture. Okay. Uranus in your first house. Very, very interesting. The first house is you. It rules your physical appearance and your personality, and Uranus is different. People with strong Uranus in their chart, they are different. So your physical body is different. There is something different about you. Whether it's one thumb is bigger than another, your voice is distinct. Strong Uranus in your chart gives you that different quality. With Uranus in your first house, you have the ability to heal yourself very quickly. True story, I had a client many years ago who suffered a cardiac arrest. They put him in the hospital. They put a pacemaker in him. 24 hours later, they removed it and discharged him. It is the ability to self-correct. However, Uranus in the first house says you're a rebel and you got to do it your way. I don't believe in squelching the chart. If you have Uranus in your first house, do it your way. Okay? Now, let's look at Uranus in your second house. This is the house of money. Uranus is the freelance planet. You got to do it your way or not at all, pretty much. So with Uranus in your second house, you need to be a freelancer at what you do. Uranus rules electronics, it rules computers, it rules astrology, it rules electricity. Anything where you are innovative and inventive or earning your money at something innovative or inventive. This is Uranus in the second house. I find a lot of psychics have Uranus in their second house. Now that is not limiting in any way. You don't need Uranus in your second house to be an excellent psychic. But it says that you don't want to be tied down to a structure. You want to be free to do it your way. And your values, second house, include doing it your way. So you are truly a rebel. First house Uranus, rebel. Second house Uranus, rebel. And we can go on through all 12. Let's look at Uranus in the third house. Well, if Uranus is the Great Awakener. And it is explosive and unexpected and rebellious. How do you think you're going to communicate? Those of you with Uranus in the third house know exactly what I'm talking about. If you think it, you express it. But you'll say things for shock value. It means you're ahead of your time. Your thought process is way ahead of the rest of the world. And so you can be very funny, very unexpected in your delivery, very quirky. Now, Uranus in the third house of transportation, check your car carefully before you get into it, because I have found that Uranus is so impulsive that in traffic it can be unexpected, and it does rule machinery. You get the picture. Okay. Your mind is ahead of its time, and you must be in a position with people who you care about who will appreciate your humor and the way in which you express yourself. Oh yes, and of course, impulse travel, definitely. Make sure you've got a full tank of gas, because Uranus in the third house can suddenly say, let's go on a road trip. Uranus in the fourth house, your family's strange, right? Now, I just sounded like a Uranus in the third. That's how Uranus in the third speaks. Uranus in the fourth, you have a very unique family, very different. Your family may be somewhat explosive. Your home situation may be explosive. I always tease lovingly my clients who have Uranus in the fourth house, because I'll say, you just aren't sure that when you come back from work that your house isn't going to still be standing. You got to keep checking it and make sure it's still there. And they understand what I'm saying. The fourth house parent, the nurturing parent, is a rebel. That fourth house parent is the one who is unpredictable, and I don't know on what level. I don't know how, but they will be unpredictable. And therefore the home situation can be a little bit unstable. However, you wouldn't want it any other way, because you deal with it quite beautifully. Now, Uranus in the fourth, it doesn't mean a tornado is going to knock your house down. It just means that your home situation is very, very different, and you like it that way. So let's move on to fun and games, shall we? Uranus in the fifth house of fun and games. Wow. Can you say, I love to hang from a chandelier? Because Uranus in that fifth house says, I'll do anything on a dare. You like unexpected, unpredictable, unique fun. I'm not going to elaborate. If you've got Uranus in the fifth house, you know what I'm talking about. Now, the fifth house rules children. So you have some very unique children, or at least your oldest child, because the fifth house is children, but it's also the oldest child. This is the one who's very different, very unique, and has to do his thing or her thing his way or her way. You love impulsive fun, things that other people might consider to be dangerous or inventive. Have a blast. Okay. Uranus in the sixth house. Well, this is your work. And so you've got to be freelance on the job. With Uranus in the sixth house, you'd be great with computers. You would be great as a psychic. You would be very good probably as an astrologer, because Uranus rules astrology. However, you cannot be tied down to a routine. So if you're an independent contractor, this works beautifully for you. Let's say you're an independent contractor and you deal with electricity and wiring. Perfect. Perfect. Uranus rules TV as well. So if we still have TVs in a few years, you can still pursue that. But what's important is that you do it your way. Your health may be unpredictable as well. And once again, with Uranus in the first, self-healing. Uranus in the sixth, the same deal. All right, let's look at Uranus in the seventh. Oh boy. You have some very unique relationships. You attract strange people to you, okay? And you're laughing. You know, if this is you, that you do attract strange, unique, fascinating, independent, unpredictable people to you. That's how it is with Uranus. And what's so interesting is we send out vibrationally our first house, but people pick up our seventh. And so you're going to appear to people to be very different, very unpredictable. They can't pin you down. You're looking for adventure and excitement in your relationships. And so that's the energy that you're putting out there. I mean, it's a mirror. Your relationships mirror you. Let's move on, though, to the 8th house. And this is very interesting. Uranus in the 8th house. Now, Uranus is the psychic planet. It's in the 8th house of the psychic realm. And so with Uranus in your 8th house, you're a natural psychic. But remember, whatever is in the 8th house is going to be transformed in this lifetime. And so your rebellion is going to undergo a transformation. Very often, Uranus can be rebellion for the sake of rebellion. And that doesn't do any good. You need a cause. You need something to rebel against and something to shoot for. And that's what Neptune is going to bring us when we get to that in just a minute. So with Uranus in your 8th house, you can think of very unique ways to help other people raise money for themselves. You can also think of wonderful ways of being innovative. And with Uranus in the 8th house, you have a natural penchant for the psychic realm and astrology. You'd probably be very, very good at. Okay? Uranus in the 9th house. Well, this is our belief system. And with Uranus in the 9th house, you have a very unique, forward-thinking, ahead of its time belief system. You believe in rebellion. It works for you. So be sure that you have the freedom to express it, because the 9th house is also our principles, and your principles involve the humanitarian side of things. That's what Uranus does. Uranus says, I believe in the whole. What's good for the whole is good for the individuals within the whole. Group-oriented. Now, Uranus in the 10th house. Wow, your public image is so unique. People just say, that person is so different, and you are. So when they say to you, you're so different, just say thank you, because you are. You're a very unpredictable, forward-thinking leader. And there can be unpredictable issues that come up in your career. Also, the 10th house parent, the out front parent, taught you to be unpredictable in the public eye. And your career really needs to involve something like electronics, electricity, the psychic realm, etc. Uranus in the 11th house. This is its natural placement. And you are a true humanitarian. You love people, you don't need them. True story, I had a student, an astrology student many years ago, and she was married to an Aquarian. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Same thing is true with just Uranus in the 11th or in the 7th. And she wanted him to tell her that he loved her. And he said, I told you I loved you last week. I haven't changed my mind. That is the true Uranian. And that's what you will, the impression that you will give. You love people, you just don't always want to be around them. And last but not least, Uranus in the 12th house. Okay. You're a rebel, but nobody knows it. It's secret. It's private. There is a hidden rebellion in you. I was looking at Taylor Swift's chart the other day, and if we get a chance, I'll introduce it to you. And if I remember correctly, she has Uranus in the 12th house, so there's a hidden rebel about her. Maybe not so hidden. Okay, that's Uranus. Let's now talk about Neptune. Neptune is a fascinating planet. Trying to grab hold of Neptune is like trying to grab hold of a handful of smoke. Neptune is elusive. It's our dream. It's wishful thinking. It rules Pisces. And so when people have a strong Neptune in their chart, we kind of lovingly refer to them as space cadets, because they are. They hear a distant melody. They are idealistic. They can be marvelous musicians and artists, or just escape artists. Let's talk about Neptune around the zodiac, and I'm going to leave Uranus up there for now. Wherever Neptune is where you can either make believe and escape or fulfill your highest dream. Neptune in the first house, you love costumes, you love make-believe, you love playing a role, and you play it beautifully. And so with Neptune in the first house, you are a wonderful actor or actress, aren't you? And you can buy your own sale. We all buy our own sale on some level. But you can really get into it. Take on the role. And I would say take drama lessons because you're a natural. Neptune in the second house. Now, wherever Neptune is, it dissolves things. You might say, is that going to dissolve my money? It could, but it doesn't have to, because Neptune is your dream. Neptune in the second house gives a non-materialistic attitude toward money. And it means when you have a non-materialistic attitude with Neptune in the second house, you create money without even thinking about it. And part of your dream may be to have the money. But Neptune is non-materialistic. So it's earning your money in a way that is inspiring to you. I love it. Neptune in the third house is the dreamer. The third house is our conscious mind. It's communication. It's what we think about, what we talk about. And there's a very dramatic, idealistic way of describing things. You'd be a wonderful intuitive. You'd be a wonderful writer. Yes, music, art, beauty, all of the above, because you hear a distant melody. You're in tune with the spirit world. Well, it's hard to explain that, isn't it? It's hard to verbalize what you're feeling, what you're hearing. Write, do videos, express it. Express the highest and most beautiful, because you were born knowing it. Now, Neptune in the fourth house. Very interesting. Your home is your haven. You adore your home, but there's something not elusive about your family, your home and family picture. There can be something about your home and family situation that involves keeping secrets. Neptune is our highest dream. And so you want your family and your home picture to reflect the highest and most beautiful dream there can be. You escape into your home. You're the guy or gal who, when it's time to leave work and go out to dinner with friends, has to touch base at home. You got to go home. And you might say, everyone else might say, why are you going home? It's because you have to touch base with your haven. I always say that Neptune in the fourth builds a castle in the air, and once a day they add another room. And if you intrude on them when they're adding that room, they pull up the drawbridge, they fill up the moat, and they swim away. Neptune in the fourth, your haven. Neptune in the fifth. Wow. If that's our fun and games, you love make-believe. Everything that Neptune rules. Neptune also rules the movies, the cinema. And you are an artist, you are dramatic, you love all kinds of make-believe. You have terrific talent, creative talent. Your children, you adore them. Now, wherever Neptune is, you do not see things clearly. And so you don't see your kids clearly. And you don't care. You love them. They are the world to you. So, You need a place to escape. You need to have fun all the time because that is your escape. And if you are in the movie business or the cinematography business or acting, this is for you. If you've got Neptune in the 5th, you must make sure that you use your dramatic talents and your creative talents. Okay, now let's look at Neptune in the 6th. This is interesting. Neptune dissolves whatever it touches, right? And so this is your job. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to go from job to job to job. But what it does mean is that your job can be either your escape, your haven, or there's something about it that is hard to wrap your mind around. It's hard to grab a handful of smoke. Neptune in the 6th house is about service. It wants to serve. And so with Neptune in your 6th house, you must feel that you are being of service to mankind. With Neptune in the 6th, what you want to do is serve and be needed. And you will lose yourself in that. The only thing you've got to watch out for, and that's with Neptune in the 1st and the 6th, is being a martyr. Because what can happen is that you dedicate your life to a cause or a person, and Neptune rules illusion. And at some point in time, the illusion, the bubble, can burst. And this can be very disillusioning. So you want to make sure that if you are serving, that you don't get carried away and martyr yourself to a cause that does not necessarily appreciate you. Okay, Neptune in the 7th house. All right. Partnership is your dream. This is something that means the world to you. Your concept of what a partner should be can be so high that the world cannot possibly give it to you. Let's say, for example, you have Neptune in the 7th as well as Saturn, the reality. Reality is going to burst your bubble every single time because your concept of partnership is so beautiful with Neptune in the 7th house, and reality cannot deliver what your dream can. So, does this mean that you attract elusive people, maybe people who don't tell the truth? Not necessarily, because anyone you attract, you will serve. You'll adore them. Wherever Neptune is what you adore. Neptune in the 8th, very interesting. Wishful thinking and escapism. This is what you decided to work on in this lifetime. This is you letting go of make-believe, not living in a bubble. But wherever Neptune is, it adds the spiritual touch. And so the 8th house of the psychic plane becomes more spiritual. So wishful thinking will be wiped out in this lifetime. And you will be able to reap the benefits of that in this lifetime. Neptune in the 9th. Oh my goodness. What's your dream? Well, for one thing, long trips. Touring the world, traveling the world to be with other people and see what they are like. Faith. Neptune rules faith. Remember, it is elusive. Faith is something that Neptune rules, obviously. And it means your belief system is based on faith. Now, can you imagine having Neptune and Saturn? Saturn is reality. Neptune is faith. And so it's practical mysticism, practical application of faith. We combine all of these. Neptune there in the 9th house says that your philosophy is one of service. And that's one of the main tenets of your life. Now let's look at Neptune in the 10th house. The world sees you as a dreamer, maybe a little spacey, but in your career you want to serve. And the public image that you share is one of service, spirituality. I have a dear friend who is an astrologer, and she has Neptune in her 10th house. And she grows her own vegetables. She makes her own tinctures, and she's a storyteller, and she loves to share stories, and she creates an aura of make-believe wherever she goes, which is why children adore her. So, Neptune in your career house, you must be involved in service to mankind. And again, the movie industry, music, writing, etc. Neptune in the 11th. Neptune in the 11th is very interesting because you adore your friends. I have a friend who, anytime he's with his friends, is in heaven. He had a reunion recently, and I watched him just be in bliss around his classmates. Neptune says your friends can deceive you, but you don't care because you adore them. You, because Neptune is in the 11th, can serve groups of people. You believe in humanity. You are the humanitarian above all else. And last but not least, Neptune in the 12th house. This is Neptune's natural placement. And so in the 12th house, you were born a spiritual person, someone who lives to give. You need your solitude. You need to be alone at least once a day. You're a daydreamer. That's great. Take that daydream and put it into operation, because what you believe is what you keep thinking about, what you keep feeling. And as you feel it, you send that energy out into the cosmos, and the law of attraction brings you your dream. Now, next time, we're going to be talking about Pluto and the North and South nodes. I know some of you have been waiting for those. So, till next time, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours.